what it has become in
Yeah.
today's times is it's a cheap WhatsApp forwards or some jokes which they are just trying to put in so that they can garner laughter from people.
Hey, hi guys. Hi everybody. So this is a new channel, Binge Mates, and as the name suggests, what do? We both are mates and we binge watch movies. And our friendship dates back, 12 years. So we started off knowing each other from our engineering days, and here we are after like 12, 13 years together creating this channel and talking about movies, something that we are both passionate about and we love a lot. We have spent endless nights, talking and analyzing movies, each and every scene, dialogues, music, editing, screenplay, you name it, and we have done it. So we just thought of sharing all those experiences, talking to more enthusiasts out there, and creating this channel to expand our love for movies. So what say? So I'm introducing my friend Zignesh
Hello,
over
hello
here.
everyone. So, yeah, I think Ankit has summed up our friendship and our equation when it comes to films. And we really thought that instead of having endless discussions on phone, we thought that we might as well discuss it with you guys who must be equally passionate about films. In here, we are not going to review only the films. It could be some old films that we could see that how it's how is it still relevant after so many years. We could also be talking about films which have just released and what's the take on that film. We could also be reviewing songs. We could be reviewing everything under the sky. So that's pretty much what our channel is. And
I
coming
really
to
wanted
the
to
film,
call out Zignesh, like you use the word summed up. That's such a true consulting word. So you're just
yeah,
showing your true colors out here now.
yeah. I think it's just you know, I want to move out of the consulting life at least on Saturdays and Sundays and talk about things which excites me much more than consulting, which is movies. And the movie which we want to discuss it with you guys today, I have watched it 100 times, and I'm sure Ankit you would have watched it multiple times. And I was fortunate enough to go and watch it in theater back then. Knowing it's a horror film, I still went, and I was amazed by the film because back in 2007, the film we are talking about was a horror comedy film, but it did not have ghosts in it. It was all psychological. The film, just a trivia about the film. It's a remake, as you all must be knowing. It's a remake of a Malayalam film, Mani Chitraju. Sorry for the maybe I didn't pronounce it well, but yeah. So this is a 1993 film. Uh, Priyadarshan was an assistant director in that film. It was directed by Fazil. Fazil is the father of Fahad Fazil, who is a legendary Malayalam actor right now. So he had made the film back in 1993, a film which a psychological thriller film. Back then there were Ramsey brothers who were making horror films, and there was ghost present in every film. But this was a different one because if you just think about Bhool Bhulaiyaa, there are no ghosts. It just happens in Avni's mind. Avni, played by Vidya Balan. And that film is had a very strong backstory back when backstories were not that much prevalent. Like today, we have a lot of films with a backstory which is very well appreciated. But I don't think many films have reached that level of Bhool Bhulaiyaa, and especially after two and three, I can say it, and I'm sure everybody can say that it's no easy thing to match with Bhool Bhulaiyaa one and what it had, what it actually meant for a lot of people. So, Ankit, what was your experience when you watched it for the first time? Do you remember anything or anything from the
Yeah,
film?
so I think it's a great movie to start our channel with, to be honest.
Yeah.
And on a weekend where the third part of the movie is releasing. But I just want to discuss a bit on one more thing, like the genre. So we don't generally discuss about what genre this movie is and how do we relate to this. What is our general expectations when we hear about this
Right.
genre called comedy horror. So it's such a stark contrast. You are combining horror with comedy. And I think the first movie in Indian cinema context was actually Bhoot Bangla, where starring Mehmood and Tanuja, who created this comedy horror concept, and it was a very iconic movie in terms of even music. So R.D. Burman's life changed after that. So he got like a lot of movies, and the famous "Aao Twist Kare" was from that movie as well. So if you see, right, like in Indian cinema, horror is taken very differently. I think first they're musically iconic. I don't remember any horror movie which don't have like iconic songs in them. And this concept of comedy horror, I see, I am a very great fan of horror movies. I think it's a very difficult genre to crack. So what is your take on this genre, like comedy horror? It's a
Yeah, I
very
mean,
interesting
yeah, it is. It
space.
is. It is. I mean, yeah. What I felt was, Bhool Bhulaiyaa. After Bhool Bhulaiyaa, there was a film which kind of piqued India. Everyone's interest was Three. Three was a very successful film in that genre. It was a horror comedy film. But after that, we had tons of films which, probably had a horror element in it, but none of them had that comic element in it, because that comic relief, as you rightly said, is missing in most of the films. They have a uh, very serious set. I think in India, the usual setting of a horror film is limited to ghosts primarily, and this film was completely different from that, and I felt it was I mean, not to I mean, a special mention to Vidya Balan, and Vidya Balan, whose life actually changed after this film. Not only Vidya Balan, I think Rajpal Yadav was really good in the film. Akshay Kumar, as we all know, has a great sense of comic timing, and everybody, I think everyone fit their role really well in this film. And a horror comedy as a genre, as we said, I don't think many films have justified what Bhool Bhulaiyaa. And also, if you think about the year, it was 2007. What a remarkable year it was for Indian films. Like, just think about it. Om Shanti Om, Welcome, Hey Baby, Namaste London, Tare
Yeah.
Zameen Par, Jab We Met. I mean, all really good films. And I just read it somewhere that in 2007, actually, Vidya Balan lost the Best Actress award to. I can't imagine her losing the award, but actually she lost it to Jab We Met, Kareena Kapoor for Jab We Met, which is okay. That's fine. But I mean,
Yeah,
that
I,
was the
I
year.
I think we can't even argue with that. I think
Correct,
both are
correct.
like great movies.
Out, and why don't we talk about Bhool Bhulaiyaa and what you really liked about the film? Maybe we can dissect it into different categories. Maybe we can talk about the direction aspect first, and then we can go about screenplay and story and music.
Absolutely. So let me take a stab at it. So I think I in a movie, I first of all love the direction part of it, like what a director imagines, right? I mean, that's in entirety, that's the thing that we are watching on the big screen. So how they have put the movie, I think this movie, as you mentioned, the Malayalam movie, it was remade in four more languages, and I don't think
Right.
the story changed a lot. So I think it was more or less the same story, and I think Priyadarshan got the inspiration from the that movie itself to recreate it in Hindi as well. And it's such a beautiful concept. I mean, the horror part of it is there for sure, and horror is something, according to me, anything that scares you, right? It may not be ghost, it could be simply death that people fear, right? You can make a movie around it, and it's equally scary. So and here I think they have tapped into a mental disorder, which is dissociative identity disorder. And I think they have really showed it very well. And I think the performances, the screenplay, the looks, setting it in a palatial view. I think it was shot in Jaipur, so the
Correct.
palatial views of it, the way it has been carried out by Priyadarshan, the entire vision of it, the colors used in the movie, the songs, direction. So I think everything kind of sets it way apart from its time. And I think the iconic music, I think that's also a director's vision, that, it's not just the music director creating that, but the director thinking like how we can use that. And using like a Hare Ram, Hare Krishna thing, which is like, something you want to relate to when you see horror or you fear something, but actually it's not, as you mentioned, it's not horror, it's not ghosts. So they also maintain that secrecy and I think the suspense pretty well till the very end. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it starts, you talked about a part where they say that it's set in the Mahal. I just read somewhere that if you just remember the film, the scenes which are shot inside the Mahal, if you watch the film again, I mean, it's to all the viewers as well. Like, if you watch the film, in that Mahal scene, every time any scene happens inside the Mahal, you can hear the echo. Okay, so that it was that
Yeah,
perfect. I mean, that the way he has shot that whole thing and the way they have dubbed it. I mean, it's really good. I don't see that happening today. Like I have seen Bhool Bhulaiyaa 2 and 3. Both of them are in a way set in a mahal, and but they don't have that authenticity to it. That is missing. Um, uh, the horror in the film. I remember I still get chills every time I see that scene when Akshay Kumar takes that cane in front of that room and he walks like the king, and that
yeah,
the voice of Vidya Balan. It still scares me uh, to a point that they
absolutely.
have used the same voice, like similar to that modulating that particular voice in Bhool Bhulaiyaa 3 as well. Because Vidya Balan is here and she's using that voice. That impactful it was. I don't think, very, very few films have that impact in terms of, balancing the horror, the comedy bit, and everything about it. And the songs, as you rightly said, every song has a meaning in it. I mean, if you see there is a song Allah Hafiz, which was very popular. When you see the film, you feel like it's just a song. But in the end, it's when you come to realize that Allah Hafiz has a meaning because that's a song which plays when they are going on a trip, him and the character of Goti, to find out about Avni's secrets. So that's a journey
Yeah,
song, and it fits into the screenplay. It doesn't mean that it kind of hampers the screenplay in a bit. I think the only song which, in a way, hampers the duration of the screenplay is probably Laboko, but I think we can give it to that song because it's just really melodious, and I don't think they make songs like that anymore.
yeah,
KK
I
was
think
just really good.
I think that song that sets the tone of a happy married life and how the
Correct.
turmoils come in and all those things. So I think that in that way is justified. But just going towards the acting piece of it, right? Akshay Kumar. I mean, shout out to that guy, legendary in terms of
Legend.
the comic timing, and that is the space he owns. I don't think any other big star can pull off such a
No one.
acting part of it. That एक उसमें जो है ना, मतलब that बेचैनी type acting he does. In you can see those glimpses in Welcome, Garam Masala, all those, that particular Hera Fairy, that particular timing. He's clueless. He's like acting like he knows nothing, kind of a thing. That is, I think,
Yeah, I mean
superlative acting.
that scene when the introduction scene. I also have to see that in Akshay Kumar enters in this film after 1 hour. He's not there for the
Yeah,
first hour. He just enters after
yeah,
the first hour, and his entry scene is in that auto. And when he comes, there is a scene when Shiny Ahuja asks, like, "Where were you? कहाँ कहाँ गए थे तुम इतने दिन? कॉल किया तो कुछ बोले, रिप्लाई नहीं आया तुम्हारा." Then he's like कि अरे मैं चला गया था बनारस में ऐसे डुबकिया उबकिया मार के. And then he comes in an auto and ऑटो वाले को कितना हुआ? बोले कि 13,000. कि 13,000? तो बोले कि हाँ मैं भी क्या बनारस से ऑटो चला के आया. So I mean that is just so cool because
yeah, yeah.
because his background is such that he's a doctor in the US, and he just come for his holidays and he just wants to enjoy
I Yeah, I
going to
think
the
I think the
bathroom and doing
bathroom
that.
scenes where he
Yeah,
throws the towel, the scenes with Goti where he has that
yeah.
all the small comic
इससे ज्यादा
pieces. I think
सेंसिटिव लड़का मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा. I mean that scene.
that was too good.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and I think as you mentioned, right, the late entry of Akshay Kumar, I think this reminds me of another movie, Mujhse Shaadi Karoge. So
Yeah,
there
yeah, yeah.
also he enters and
Correct.
he owns that space. Like
What's
he
that
enters
space? Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
very late and like completely changes that movie. That was also a great movie, simply from the comic and that ruthless acting from Akshay Kumar.
and Rajpal Yadav scenes.
Yeah,
Rajpal Yadav had a just 10 minutes or a 15 minutes role in the film. But every time
absolutely.
he entered the screen, he kind of, blew everyone's mind. That scene
Yeah.
when, Paresh Rawal enters, I think it happens in the beginning of the film, where he's like, कि, अरे जो उस्ताद है वो कहीं गए हैं त्रिमूर्ति नाम का कोई कॉलेज है लंदन में वहाँ पढ़ने गए हैं क्योंकि त्रिमूर्ति नहीं फूफा जी ट्रिनिटी ट्रिनिटी कॉलेज क्योंकि हाँ 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 वही वही एंड लेकिन वहाँ पे क्यों पढ़ने गए यहाँ पे तो चौपाल में हर तरह का अखबार मिल जाता है तो वहाँ क्यों पढ़ने गए आई मीन द इनोसेंस in that dialogue was and the way he enacted it was just too good. People think about Bhool Bhulaiyaa, I think there is one scene which will always remind them of is when the character of Paresh Rawal sees any object moving in the mahal and he gets scared.
Mm,
So
yeah, yeah.
it is not because there is a ghost or anything. It's because somebody just put a tumbler in there
Yeah,
and the tumbler started to move and he gets scared. And that was so I guess also ode to so many other these Mahal films when and also to most of us when we get scared of small things when we just think that it's a ghost but actually there was no ghost. So I
yeah,
think
yeah,
kudos
absolutely.
to all the
And
all
I think
the yeah,
I think the essence of horror is not revealing the ghost, right? So
correct.
once you see something, right, it's the fear of unknown that
Right.
people capitalize while making a horror movie. So if you see a ghost, the scare starts to fade away. So you know what it looks like, what it'll do, what it wants, or etc. But until and unless you have not seen it, so it's like you keep imagining, right? And yeah, so moving on from Akshay Kumar to Vidya Balan, right? I mean, another like masterpiece.
Yeah.
So
She was a
uh,
revelation
I
in this
think I
film because I don't
I think
think
Vidya
before
Balan
this
will be
film she had
remembered for this role, right?
correct.
For ages.
Right.
So
Yeah.
any movie you can name like hundreds of movies of her, but something that she'll be remembered for is Manjulika. So I think uh, even nuances, right? Like the acting when she's like a good wife or like having those conversations with Shiny Ahuja. He's so sweet, so humble, talking to his friends, his family, and then the transition into being that violent Manjulika. So those scenes, like, it's exceptional acting according to me.
Agreed. I mean, her role, I mean, especially that dance scene, Amije Tumar, I was so scared as a child. I was scared. And till today, I think when I see that scene, it sends down chills down my spine. I think it's just too good. The way she,
Yeah,
performed that dance sequence. I mean, as you said, her voice modulation, which she did there, uh, in from the beginning till the very end, when she's innocent or when she's violent, she has acted really well. She's just
absolutely.
and also I think talking about Shiny Ahuja. Well, he was also really good in that film. I have to say that I mean playing as a husband who is kind of confused between the old rituals and this new age technologies and new age stuff. He's kind of confused and trying to strike that balance between the two. He in the initial scenes, I think he doesn't agree with anything which what Manoj Joshi's character says. But I
Yeah,
think in the later half, somewhere we see that change happening when he doesn't really start, believing in ghost or anything. But I think we could see that change in him when he sees Manjulika, and he kind of also,
yeah,
like others, thinks there is a ghost involved in here. It is only, I think, a genius writing by Priyadarshan of introducing a character because post that we pre Bulbulaya we had these tantric things very
yeah, yeah,
prevalent
absolutely.
in lot of films. Like you have Booth, you have I think we had a Vastu Shastra. There was
Yeah.
lot of emphasis on 1920. I think there was a lot of emphasis on the ghost and the tantric and using holy water to ward off the spirits.
And I
So
actually really like that the mix that they have created between a study like psychiatry and something like tantric vidya that you say. So both, if you see, like Akshay Kumar also pays his respect to the
yeah,
person
so
who is
Vikram,
pursuing that study,
yeah,
right?
correct, yeah. There's a scene
So
between
that
him and Vikram Gokhale when Vikram Gokhale's character, who has come, who was that one who had gone to Trinity College. So when that
Yeah,
person is back, and when the conversation happens between the two, he respects Akshay Kumar, and Akshay Kumar respects him. Akshay Kumar also tells him that मुझे आपकी तांत्रिक विद्या की जरूरत पड़ेगी. So they never try
exactly.
to say that the new age stuff is overpowering everything.
Better than this or not or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
have created, they have
It's not.
shown that there is some science behind this old traditions and rituals as well. So I think that was also excellent, and how they have kept that dissociative identity disorder. If you remember Shiny Ahuja, when he sees Vidya Balan lift that huge bed.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think we have all seen that scene where they say that it might, there is one scene in the Mahal which says like it requires 4 or 5 people to lift that, even move that
Correct.
bed an inch.
In the
And
beginning,
with
that's right.
yeah,
In the beginning
and
scene when
Vidya Balan,
yeah,
kind of picks it up easily when she's turning into that violent Manjulika. And I think after seeing that, Shiny Ahuja feels like how traumatic that incident is and what trauma she's going through. And he, approaches Akshay Kumar to understand like what is happening, why aren't you able to do anything, and all those stuff. And
yeah,
he very,
he
yeah,
shouts
and
at Akshay Kumar that I'm going to take her to London, I'm going to take her to
best
America,
of
and
the
everything will
doctors,
run
yeah.
smoothly.
Yeah,
And he says
and
that
he says like whatever they can do, even I can do, right? So
yeah,
the aim and the storyline to extract that or repair that issue from the core was really interesting, because otherwise it could have been a easy do fix by, I don't know, maybe
it could have stayed with
hypnotizing
her
or
for
anything.
right, right. I mean, it could have stayed with her for a long time because he says that Akshay Kumar says that dialogue that कि बाकी जो कर सकते हैं मैं भी कर सकता हूँ और खड़ी कर सकता हूँ तुम्हारे सामने एक अवनी बट वो महज से एक मिट्टी का पुतला होगा. So that would be the
Hmm,
case. Like he could flip every time, but you need to
exactly.
eradicate that thing from the roots, which
And I think they have maintained that storyline for such a long time. If you remember, she tries to poison Shiny Ahuja, right, in his tea, and they try to pin that blame on Amisha Patel. So the sole reason is that was not needed, right? Like, why do we want to pin the blame on somebody who is not, nowhere related? But they wanted to do that so that urge or the thing that is brewing inside of me that goes to the peak, right? And it's like in its full potential. Then only when you reach the climax, or when you reach that limit, that you are able to kill somebody, that you are so infuriated, you are so believing in that cause so much that you can kill somebody, only then that other tantra vidya and whatever they had planned for would have worked. Otherwise, if somebody would have stopped her in between, like during the transition, I think that would have lost, right? And kudos to even Amisha Patel, right? She also had a very small character, but very effective one. Like, people remember her character as well. And I think that's the beauty of Priyadarshan. He incorporates everybody in the panel equally, that gives them a very special kind of a role for people to remember them.
क्योंकि पुष्पा कहाँ जा रही हो अपने गधे पे बैठ के काफी it was just too
Classic.
good. I think yeah, everyone was. I think the acting was so good, and Priyadarshan, as you rightly said, made it so palatable for the Indian audience, for the audience, for the Bollywood audience, I would say, because incorporating. I remember there was a reference of a snake in Chandramukhi, which they removed it in Bollywood part, because in the original film Chandramukhi there was a snake protecting that door. But in here we have this Abhimantrit Dhaga thing, which is obviously because
Hmm.
that's what people would relate to in
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of the North India and the other non-South Indian states. So I think it was really you know palatable for the non-South Indian audience. It was really well made that way. What
Yeah, I
other
think.
scenes you think really worked in that film, and then we can probably move to music of how effective the music was, and which is your favorite song, or which you still hum to, or which you still is there in your playlist.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think scenes, right? I think the transition of Avni, right? Like the, the the moving and the subtle changes of she being sweet to violent, especially that bed scene, right? When
Yeah,
Shiny Ahuja interacts with her for the first time, and he sees her change in front of his eyes. that scene, I think, very, very impactful. And that by that time, we know that what is wrong with her, what is happening. So we are trying, we are kind of relating with that. And it's also a very interesting thing that she sees that king who killed her lover in her husband. So that's also a very
Yeah.
interesting take. Like Priyadarshi, it could have been anybody.
I
Yes,
mean,
exactly.
yeah. I think yeah.
So I think that was really good. And I think then the dance which starts, right? I think Vidya Balan put in some effort in learning the classical dance form and actually
Yeah, yeah,
putting
yeah.
in
She
that
learned
show, which
Kathak.
was
Yeah,
Kathak. Yes, and like ultimate, hats off. The music, Shreya Ghoshal's voice, the music and the dance and the effect of that mahal all coming together. I think that was a spectacle to watch. I really envy you. You watched it in the theater that time. I
yeah,
could not see that, but yeah, I think high time it needs a re-release so that people like me
yeah.
could go in and watch it again.
The beauty with a film like Bhool Bhulaiyaa is, even though you like it, I think there's the element of comedy which makes it rewatchable, and actually it has really aged well, I would say, in that aspect. What do you think about the music? Like, which is your favorite song from the album?
I think, as you mentioned, although it might not be needed there, I think it's Labonko.
La
I
Bonka.
think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
absolutely.
fantastic, and I think it's a timeless music. So it's still
Timeless.
relevant today, and I could hear it on a loop today as well. And yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Amije Tomar as well. Who can not, see that or admire that music? I think till now also three parts in Bhool Bhulaiyaa they haven't been able to change that music as of now.
correct. I was just about to say that it's been three films of Bhool Bhulaiyaa. Amije Tomar and Bhool Bhulaiyaa title track has not changed. The music has remained same.
Exactly,
And the best
exactly.
part is it just talks volumes about how Shreya Ghoshal is as a singer, because in the three parts, Bhulbulaya 1, 2, 3, one had another singer complimenting Shreya Ghoshal. The second part had Arjit Singh version of Ami Jai Tomar, which is really good. The third one is a surprise. I think it's out there. I think I can tell you that it's Sonu Nigam who has sung the Ami Jai Tomar male part. But the very fact that across three films, Shreya Ghoshal is the constantly, it's like the common character, or the common singer across all the three films. I think she's just really good, and I think she owns this genre. I don't think we can have an Ami Tomar without Shreya Ghoshal.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
just
absolutely.
really good.
And so that like the this is a interesting topic that has come up, right? So after watching Bhool Bhulaiyaa, like I think it's a legendary and epic movie. Everybody was waiting for the second part. We were waiting for the second part, and it happened. So
Yeah.
after that, what did you think of the second part? I would like to know like honest reviews.
My respect for Bhool Bhulaiyaa was already a 9 on 10. It became probably 20 on 10. I'm like, you cannot replicate the classic. I think I did not like Bhool Bhulaiyaa to that much. I think the twist was good, but I don't think Kartik Aaryan can match up to what Akshay Kumar did. And also, I don't blame Kartik Aaryan like in its entirety, but also it has to do with smart writing. What it has become in
Yeah,
today's times is it's a cheap WhatsApp forwards or some jokes which they are just trying to put in so that they can garner laughter from people. Like I can just say that maybe one reference in Bhool 3 because Bhool 2 honestly I don't remember. Again, I would like to raise this point that Bhool 1 I remember every scene, even though I watched it 100 times. I have to admit, because that's why I remember it. But Bhool 2 I don't remember even a single comic gag from the film. And Bhool 3,
absolutely.
I watched it yesterday. Probably there are two to three dialogues which I remember. That's it. I mean, forget it. I mean, the recall value is really low for Bhool 2 and 3. I can maybe tell one spoil, not a spoiler exactly, but a reference to Shehzada, which failed in audience in the theaters, and also no one liked it. There's a reference when someone says that you are a Shehzada, and Kartik Aaryan says, "भाई कुछ भी बोलने का Shehzada नहीं बोलने का." So I think that's what they do these days. I mean, they just reference any older films and in meta references to a film, and that's how they do. Because Bhul 1 did not have any meta references, but it still made us laugh. I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
know what these
absolutely,
things mean,
absolutely.
but
And I think it's, as you mentioned, right? It's like superlative writing and execution. and like
Top
on
notch, yeah.
screen whoever is carrying it out, right? Like Akshay Kumar, hands down. You give him
Hands down.
anything and you ask him to make him funny, he will do it. He will
He will do it.
deliver. So Hera Fairy, Garam Masala, Welcome, like everything, he has that. Has a certain way of acting in comedy, and his comic timing is like superlative. So Bhool
Yeah.
Bhulaiyaa 2, yeah, I mean, I don't know why literally they wanted to do that seriously. Like it wa- it was like you have a great dish out there and you just want to experiment with it for no reason. It's already so good. And the concept, right? I think they this time they created real ghosts, so that's also there,
Yeah.
which made things worse, because a lot of things that this guy was doing, right, Kartik Aaryan was doing, I think just does not fly off when you think that actually there is a ghost. And the setting, although the setting is again some mahal kind of a setting, it's almost the similar things. You are going blatantly like like claiming to see ghosts and talk to them, interact with them, and carrying that narrative, but actually not delivering on it much. Jokes were repetitive. A lot of things were
Also the songs. I
just
mean
for
the
the sake
songs.
of doing.
The songs don't work in Bhool Bhulaiyaa 2 nor in Bhool Bhulaiyaa 3. Bhool Bhulaiyaa 3 had no memorable song. The same as Bhool Bhulaiyaa 2. Do you remember any song from Bhool Bhulaiyaa 2?
No, not at all.
It. That's the problem with these films, especially the second and the third one. They are just there for for the cash registers ringing. That's it. This film made
Yeah, yeah,
100 crore. I'm happy for that. Like that because that Bollywood was going through a dull phase during the COVID era, and that film kind of changed it because it was 100 crore. It made 100 crores, and it kind of helped
absolutely.
Kartik Aaryan's image and Kartik Aaryan's uh, uh, you know it helped Kartik Aaryan as an actor. So I think that's
Yeah,
good. But
I
I don't
think
think.
I think Kartik Aaryan is good. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not a very big fan, but yes, I loved Chandu Champion, to be honest. Great piece of acting, and but not really fan of Bhool Bhulaiyaa.
Really
I think
hoping.
another
Yeah,
thing, right, in Bollywood. So I don't know why people keep creating so many parts of such a great success, right? Hera Fairy,
correct,
it's done. I think it's great. That's it. Why create a fair Hera Fairy and try to sabotage that impact that the earlier one had created, right? And Welcome, similarly, so many parts. I don't end up liking them. Golmaal did good to a certain extent, but not keeping up in every
I think if I just
movie.
think about the films which had from whose franchise it really worked. I think one was Munna Bhai, which is a great example of a film whose
Absolutely.
sequel really worked. Tannu vs Manu was one. Jolly LLB to an extent I really liked both the Jolly LLBs.
Yeah.
Not ranking anyone in particular, but both of them were good. Uh, but yeah, I mean even I
But
can't think
yes,
of.
see the difference, like Jolly LLB is a very cleverly made movie, right? Because they are not copying, they are not moving that,
Yeah,
Jolly LLB one story ahead. They are just doing, they're keeping the concept alive that there is a courtroom case that is going to happen. But the
correct,
people, cast, everything is different. So that really works. When you keep the characters same, right? It's very difficult to justify what we are
correct.
trying to do and why we are doing it. So
Correct.
yeah,
So now, just now final thoughts on Bhool Bhulaiyaa. How much would you rate it out of 10? Like if you see it today, like when was the last time you watched it, and what would you rate out of 10?
So according to me, right, I think I'll rate it around 8.5 out of
Uh,
10.
okay. Okay.
So why that one and a half is because I think several unanswered questions. I think since we are talking about a mental disorder that we are dealing with, how the transition into all those languages, right? Vidya Balan speaking fluent
Also that scene
Bengali.
when yeah, I mean, how she learned Bengali was a question, and also I felt there was
Yeah,
a bit of a flaw when the character of Avni lifts that bed. I mean, she was
exactly. Like
not physically capable of doing that. So I think that
exactly.
I can understand that mental strength is there, but I don't think it can overpower physical strength. So that
Yeah, yeah, I
part
mean,
I also find
mental
it a bit
strength can
flaw.
help you extend your physical strength to a certain extent, but when you're establishing a fact that you need
Yeah.
five grown people to move it by
Yes.
an inch, and then doing that, you are trying to show that how she's becoming a different person. But yeah, I found like little flaws out in there. So yeah, that's I think I'd rate 8.5, and 8.5, I'm saying that I would rate it in today's time. So that was
Yeah,
released
back
like,
then,
ages
back
back.
then 10 on 10, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly, exactly. So
Yeah,
in
agreed.
today's time, it's absolutely relevant. I think I don't see that what anything else would have been done different, that it would have been better, because the story was on spot, music excellent, it's still relevant. People are still singing these, using them in dance shows. You can see them like, everywhere.
Yeah,
And
that tum
editing
tum
was
tum
crisp.
tum tum tum. That
Yeah,
part is
absolutely.
always there. I have seen it in some
Absolutely.
of the shows as well. Yeah,
And the editing was crisp. Acting
yeah.
was flawless.
Editing also, when I was watching Bhool Bhulaiyaa 3, there's a 2.5 hours film. दो दो घंटे के बाद I was like, I can't see it anymore because it was a stretch sitting for 2 hours, and that I think has to do with smart editing. I
I
think
think
it's
I
all
think
about
this franchise is working based on the first movie. That's it. So I don't think
exactly.
Bhool Bhulaiyaa 3 people are going because they loved Bhool Bhulaiyaa 2. They're still going there because they love Bhool Bhulaiyaa and they're expecting to see something different. So I think that's again it. So I
Yeah.
just I just want to introduce like an interesting part over here. So what do you think could be, alternate endings to Bhool Bhulaiyaa? How do you think it would have ended up differently?
Alternate ending. Well, right now, if I'm just think about it, maybe there could be an ending where uh, they could have actually had a second part where in the first part you actually don't have you see that Avni has forgotten all of it and she's just free right now. But I think somewhere that Manjulika is still there and it kinds of opens up in the second part in the Bulbulaya 2, and she kind of has the story moving forward. So that could be one of the endings I can just think about. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking through. What else do you think? I'm just still thinking.
I I think couple of endings, right? Some if it would not have been comedy horror, and they actually transitioned into that serious phase later, right? Like towards the end when it was established that Avni is suffering from a mental illness or something. But if it wouldn't have been there, so it could have been a funny ending as well. Could have been funny as well as serious. So two things: either Manjulika would have been a real ghost, so you
Yeah.
never know, like you're
Yeah.
thinking like it's dissociative identity disorder. It's also there, but actually the ghost is also there. So something is wrong, something is happening out
You know,
there,
I
okay?
just I just thought about a funny ending. What if Akshay Kumar and Vidya Balan were actually a couple, and it was his plan of kind of because Siddharth, the character of Shiny Oza, is really rich Raja Maharaja. So basically, you would kind of in the end try to have a different ending where probably they would try to murder Shiny Ahuja or take all of his property or make him a villain, like who trying to beat Avni up. That could be one case. Or secondly, it could be all that, or just another thought of it, like maybe Akshay Kumar and Vidya Balan are together, and in the end they convince Shiny Ahuja कि यार छोड़ दे इसको पागल है, ठीक है, and then Akshay and Vidya Balan get together and they live a happy life.
Yeah.
So this all
or else
film
or
could be
else or else it could be as simple as that. They tried doing everything, and you know like towards the end, after she slices Shahini Ahuja, she feels good about it, and she does she is like permanently into that mode, and she does not recover from that. She wants to kill somebody else now. Oh no.
yeah. And what
that
if while
that
moving that
that
thing,
too
what if
takes
while
over.
moving that thing, that thing would have got stuck and Shiny Ahuja
Shahini
would have
real
discovered everything.
oh fuck.
Shiny Ahuja would have stuck in 2 pieces. I mean,
Yeah.
anything would have
Akshay
happened.
Kumar would have yelled, oh fuck, ये तो अटक गया.
Yeah. And Avni would have never realized it. Avni would have been, really happy. So yeah,
Yeah. Avni would have recovered, and Akshay Kumar would have shouted miracle, miracle. Bro.
miracle. Yeah, I mean, it could be, yeah, that also, something which anything could happen. I mean, but I don't think any endings we talk about can actually match what was actually shown to us. But yeah,
Absolutely. I think it was a great discussion, Signesh. I think we have
Yeah,
started
yeah.
this lot of we will have a lot of flaws in our discussion, but definitely we'll make it up with the viewers in the coming videos. We'll talk about a lot of movies, lot of music,
Right.
deeper aspects
Let
of
us, yeah.
movies
I
like
think also to people, like, let us know if there any particular film which you want us to review, or I mean, we could do that.
absolutely like, comment, and share.
Yes, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks guys. This is Benchmate signing off. Thank you.